My goodness, what a crowd. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for our sponsors. Thank you, Kevin Harry. Man, can he blow the doors off or what? He usually has tapes for sale, so if anybody wants to buy one of his tapes individually or with the Omegas, I'm sure they're for sale. Unfortunately, he's got to be singing a funeral, and he told me to keep it short, so he and I will be doing the same thing. So I'll try to follow your advice, Kevin. Thank you to the Honor Guard. My goodness, how proud they make us. Wasn't y'all proud of that? It's fantastic. I'd like to thank Reverend Warren Huddleston for your beautiful prayer and for being my friend and my pastor. Thank you. I'd like to thank my wife, Jane, and my daughter, Jody, for being my rock. In fact, this year marks 43 years of marriage, and 7 years we dated. So for 50 years, she's been my sweetheart and the love of my life. Thank you to the Board of Commissioners for your courage to lead during these tough times. In Malcolm Gladwell's book, David and Goliath, he writes, courage is not something that you already have that makes you brave when tough times come. But courage is what you earn when you've been through those tough times. And my goodness, they've earned their stripes. So thank you, Commissioners. Y'all stand and be recognized. Thank y'all for being here. We could not do what we do without the great leadership of our cities and their dedicated leadership. Thank you, Mayor Debbie at Hiram. I know you're here somewhere. And Boyd, thank you. Boyd was just recognized by Georgia Trend as 100 most influential people for regional growth and cooperation. In fact, he's the reason I got stuck for 11 hours at OK Cafe. Great award, Boyd. Thank you very much. Jane prayed with me this morning before I left, and she said, and God, when he starts to ad-lib, please not let him insult anyone. That's the truth. Our chamber has been recognized as one of the best in the nation, and I'm proud to serve on your board of directors. President Carolyn Wright works tirelessly with her team of Kevin, Shelba, Amy, and now Stacy. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for the chamber members, for the board and ambassadors. Would y'all please stand again if you're with the chamber in any capacity? Would you please stand and be recognized? I'd also like to recognize the retirement from the chamber of Susan Vanek Butler, recently married. We wish you and Jim the very best. This girl's been on a honeymoon for 6 months, so somebody needs to call her and tell her to come back home. Thank you to the Industrial Building Authority and the Airport Authority for your dedication for all the unnecessary criticism you might receive for your voluntary work. Isn't that amazing? If you've been on the Industrial Building Authority or currently with it, would y'all please stand? And with the Airport Authority, please stand and be recognized. We have 2 dedicated men that work with great people, and they lead those people, and they spend their lives guarding, protecting, and rescuing this county. Sheriff Gary Gullidge and Fire Chief and EMA Director Chief Earwood. Would y'all stand and be recognized? They're some of the best in the nation. In fact, it helps us when we try to recruit, and they ask about our crime. Gary, you just do a fabulous job, and you too, Mike. Thank you. And I guess you recognized during the last snowstorm we had, I think the Georgia gang, I'm not making this up, the Georgia gang called this cluster flake. Be careful when you say that. Cluster flake. But our 911 center and our Marshals Bureau, actually, I got so many compliments and calls for them. It was outstanding. So, Dave Mumford, I know you're here somewhere with 911, and our marshals, if you're in the room, if y'all stand, we appreciate you. It's been my honor to serve most of you. and labor of love to serve the rest of you here. I'm joined by constitutional and statutory officers that probably feel the same way I do, they just won't say it. So I'd like to thank them for being here. We've got department heads, we've got county employees, and members of the Board of Education. So would y'all stand and please be recognized. Our county delegation is in session at the Capitol, and we want to thank them along with our U.S. Representative Tom Graves, our U.S. Senator Saxby Chambliss and Johnny Isaacson for always looking out for Paulding County, and they do an outstanding job. We have in attendance with us today many state and regional organizations leaders and joining county commissioners, and Carl Vinson Institute, the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. I'm sure I'm leaving out somebody, the Council for Quality Growth. There's just a ton of people that do exceptional jobs for Paulding County, and I love that. This is Snowstorm Appreciation Day, and I'd like to dedicate this day to all the volunteers in the county and state personnel, all the Board of Education and Public Safety for all their heroic work during the snowstorm of 2014. I witnessed people getting out of their cars and pushing one another. It makes me know this is the heart of the South. I'd like to personally thank the OK Cafe, thanks to Boyd, where I spent 11 hours. People kept making comments that I was in hog heaven. They weren't serving food. Only till the owners got in the next morning at 6 o'clock did they start making us breakfast, and they gave it all away. They made vegetable soup for lunch, and they gave it all away. So if you have a chance to go by there and eat, please go by. No compliments on me, just go by and eat. I think again that we need to especially thank everyone that went out and did work with us in the county, but especially I'd like to thank our bus drivers. We plan a bus driver appreciation day coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. We'll need your help with that, but again, thank you all for doing that. I've learned that people will forget what you do, they will forget what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. That's Maya Angelou, poet, novelist, actress, and filmmaker. Spread love wherever you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. Mother Teresa. With these two quotes in mind, last year I gave the award for lifetime dedication to making Paulding County a better place to Ken Thigpen. Now, in his honor, this award henceforth will be known as the Ken Thigpen Award. So, Ford, I know you're here. I know Ken's on a vacation. I don't blame him. So, thank you, Ford, and thank you, your family. My choice for this year's award goes to a person that I've called on over these past 5 years, time and time again. She's been a lifelong friend of mine. And I'll call her and say, I need your help. And you know what she says? She always says, what can I do? This year's recipient is a 39-year employee of the Wellstar Paulding campus. She came to Paulding campus in June of 1975 and worked initially in medical records department of the hospital. She has worked in various roles in the nursing center, including medical records, MDS data entry, and in activities. As activities director, one of the greatest attributes she brings to this role is community involvement. Her sense of humor, enthusiasm, and success in bringing that hometown feel to Paulding County makes everyone feel great, but especially the residents who have called the Paulding Nursing Center home. This year's award goes to Imogene Nelson. Hold on a minute, I got to tell you the best part. Y'all can be seated for just a minute. Imogene is married to James Nelson and is the mother of 3 daughters. Kathy Watkins, retired from Cobb County DA's office. Georgia Rakestraw. Now, y'all say, how did she get her here? And they didn't know. Georgia told her she's getting the award. You probably should have, Georgia, but she told her she was getting the award, so she can't see Georgia get this award. George is the co-owner of Judy Bees and Company, and they had a daughter who passed away in 2005, Judy Rackley. Now here's her proud moment. She has 3 granddaughters, 3 great-granddaughters, 1 great-grandson, and another great-grandson on the way. This year's award goes to Imogene Nelson. Well, during this practice session, Jody Martin said a lot of nice things about me, since you didn't want to speak, Imogene. What a beautiful lady, over and beyond. So if you're here with Wellstar, you got one of the best people in the world working for you. What is the state of the county? Last year at this time, I was pleased to announce to you that we had signs of growth, and after struggling through a half a decade in a down economy, right with unemployment, declining home values, and dwindling service, this year I'm even more grateful to be speaking to you about clear signs of progress. We now have pre-recession employment levels. Some home pricing and building permits are again on the rise, and for the first time since I've been chairman, we will have a budget revenues sufficient to allow us the opportunity to restore many of the services either discontinued or eliminated altogether. In addition, we will be able to repair many of the infrastructure items that have been placed on hold these many years. No one knows how 2014 will end, but we are beginning 2014 with growth. So thank you all. On your table are many updates. We won't have time to touch on today, but it'll give you some statistics in there I think that are pretty important. So please pay attention to those. In the past, I've talked to you about 3 subjects: water, economic development, and transportation. This year I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to talk to you about transportation, economic development, and water. Big change. Without great leadership in transportation, no project, no matter how great it is, could be accomplished. So I'd like to thank Scott Green and his leadership team. Scott, I know you're here somewhere. Would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you very much. And speaking of DOT leadership, I can't speak of the DOT leadership without talking about the retirement of Richard Huff for 21 years, served Paulding County. So thank you for your dedication. Now let's talk about some transportation projects. This should make Plateau happy and things to come. We did the Seven Hills Boulevard extension. The 2-mile long project was just completed and opened on November the 21st, 2013, serving as a reliever for one of the fastest growing areas of our county on the Cedar Crest Road area. The road also includes an extension of the Seven Hills multi-use trail to a length of over 4 miles. Now this is second only to the Silver Comet Trail, so it's a beautiful place to walk and a great place to drive. So if you hadn't been out there, take a look at it. Our DOT did a wonderful job. East Town Parkway we've been working on for quite a while, and I've talked about it, but we will come to completion for this 3-mile extension of Bill Caruth Parkway, and is our largest transportation project ever. East Town Parkway will allow for easy access and offer alternative movement to and around Hiram through 278. East Hiram Parkway will be a major hub for commercial and industrial growth. And this should open within days, I think around February the 11th. So we're excited about opening. I guess we're going to open it. Highway 92, widening from I-20 through Douglas through Paulding County. My goodness, how long have we talked about that project? We have worked closely with GDOT and our state and U.S. leaders to keep this project moving as a top priority for both our daily commute and our economic future. We're optimistic we'll finally see groundbreaking on the first phase in Douglas. Commissioner tells me that one of the first phases of that is tunneling under the railroad, where we see a major stop happen to our traffic. So they'll move it over about 1/8 of a mile, tunnel under, and it'll line up with how you currently go and get on I-20. So Thank you for all y'all's hard work over in Douglas. We are optimistic we'll finally see that groundbreaking and also see right-of-way acquisition into Paulding, extending through Paulding and up to, I think, Hiram-Sooty Road. This project will allow for a faster commute and will improve the quality of life for the commuter to spend more time with their family and less time on the road. Bill Caruth Parkway Phase 2 widening. This project has been advertised for bid and should be open in a month or two. With East Hiram Parkway opening, these projects will make your commute easier. Now, this is a little section below the hospital and all the way out to Highway 92. So when it's finished, that entire East Hiram Parkway, Bill Caruth Parkway will be 4-lane. Willow Springs Bridge Road, we have awarded the contract to replace this bridge. While we need to replace it, we are preserving it. So it can be a place for all you camera enthusiasts. You can go and make pictures still. It's one of the 3 oldest bridges in the county, so it needs replacing. What this will do is open up through traffic for ambulances and school buses. For years, that's been shut down and they had to come in from one end or the other. So allow for through traffic all the way through. We're excited about that. This year is a record year in paving for the county. With a positive change to our tax digest, we will begin to work towards paving to take care of our infrastructure. It's been deteriorating for quite a while. In addition to this, we've paved over 40 miles of subdivision streets, and we've done this with our infrastructure bonds, which the commissioners passed. Rather than waiting for revenue to come in over a 10-year period, we decided to bond these jobs and go ahead and pay for this. And doing that in this time frame will save us about $5 million. It'll also protect our infrastructure. And people wonder, how are you going to pay for that? Well, future residents to these unfinished subdivisions will pay the road improvement with a project improvement fee that will be on that lot and not penalize the current residents for the developer's mistakes of the past. So thank you, DOT. Appreciate what y'all have done. Our second subject is economic development, which is the creation of new jobs and investment and is the backbone of any physically sound community. By diversifying the composition of Paulding's tax digest, we can increase our industrial and commercial activity, and we improve the quality of life for the residents by not only providing local employment opportunities, but ensuring that the future tax revenues will be less dependent on our homeowners and our landowners. I'm one of these, With a focus on industrial and commercial growth, the county currently has a AA rating from Standard & Poor's and Moody's, and will help us keep that going. In 2013, the business landscape saw a major shift in both its appearance and composition through several high-profile products and developments. These successes will provide a springboard into 2014 as we move toward making our goal, making Paulding more of an employment center and less of a bedroom community. I'd like to now recognize the Paulding County Economic Development staff, the board of directors, the partners and investors for the job they did in 2013 and continue to do as we move into 2014. Would y'all please stand and be recognized? If you've been on that board currently or in the past, please stand. The organization's success led to Jamie Gilbert being named the Paulding Neighbors 2013 Newsmaker of the Year, and I couldn't be more pleased with PCED's work they've done on behalf of the residents of Paulding County. I'll give you a few highlights of 2013 developments, but before I go there, I'd like to announce that Governor Deal made an announcement in November that Georgia had been chosen by Site Selection Magazine as the #1 state in the USA to do business, and that's fabulous. It's a promise he made in 2008 when he ran, and he followed through with that, so it gave us a great opportunity here in Paulding. So a great shout out to my governor, Governor Deal. And Dennis, thank you for being here. Now let's talk about projects and what they did. Interro's Regional Center of Excellence. In January, the Swiss-based Interro, the world's premier manufacturer, and the Conveyor Systems and Components broke ground on its $10 million Regional Center of Excellence on Bill Caruth Highway in Hiram. Construction on the 92,300 square foot facility will employ 100 associates and was completed in Paulding in November. So thank you very much. The Regional Center of Excellence will manufacture several types of conveyors for the logistics industry and contains 5,000 square feet of showroom space. Interroll is a huge win for Paulding County. I'm extremely proud of the economic development team and bringing this to fruition in our community. Next, we have Ronchi America. In April, Ronchi America, an Italian manufacturer of equipment of the bottling industry, announced its relocation of its U.S. headquarters to Paulding County from New Jersey. Ronchi makes a variety of equipment, including liquid fill, capping, and sorting machines, and their customers include Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, and L'Oreal. The company purchased 10,000 square feet of industrial and office space at 63 Duncan Circle in Hiram, which will house Ronchi's America administrative, sales, spare parts, service, assembly, warehouse, shipping, and receiving functions for both the U.S. and Canada. The operation is expected to employ 35 associates within 3 years with an investment of $1.4 million. Now we have Certified DEF. In June, Certified DEF, a clean technology and automotive-based business from Brigham City, Utah, selected Paulding County for its Southeast U.S. headquarters. The operation opened in August, and Certified DEF will package and distribute diesel exhaust fluid. That's where the DEF comes from, diesel exhaust fluid, for travel plazas, truck rental centers, automotive parts stores, all throughout the entire Southeast. The Dallas operation occupies 6,000 square feet of industrial space on Industrial Court in Dallas. The facility is expected to employ 20 associates within the first 2 years of operation. Now we got a couple of parks we're proud of. The industrial parks of Paulding Commerce Park and Dallas Industrial Park. These two new parks saw significant construction the past year by providing outstanding real estate opportunities for manufacturers. The 130-acre Paulding Commerce Park, Interroll's new home, is the county's first Class A manufacturing campus. Paulding Commerce Park is a premier planned Class A manufacturing park that is specifically designed for the Fortune 1000 firms and international companies. Great effort by Industrial Building Authority on that area. We also have a Dallas Industrial Park. Construction progressed on the 120-acre Dallas Industrial Park with the completion and opening of the Pittsburgh-based Film Support Unit, Haddad's Southeast operation. That's one of Mayor Debbie's buddies up in that Pittsburgh area, so great job. And also it will house the Sheriff's Office training facility. Gary's busy making plans to build that, and you'll hear more about it later on in the year. Here's the exciting thing. This was a former defunct subdivision, and it was in foreclosure. The IBA bought it out of foreclosure, and it's now an excellent location for your traditional manufacturing operations. A redesigned entrance was completed in November and now provides an excellent location for new and expanding businesses. The beauty here too is both these parks are located in the opportunity zone that we got, a couple of years ago. So we're excited about where that is. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that in 2013 we saw the emergence of the Paulding Aerospace Alliance, or PAA. This partnership is between Paulding's existing aerospace companies, the economic development team, the chamber, the IBA, the higher education, and state entities. It's become an important marketing tool and recruiting service for our efforts to grow the aerospace industry in Paulding. Now for our crown jewel, the Paulding Wellstar Hospital. Since 2004, when Wellstar System bought the land in Hiram for the new hospital, Wellstar has spent over $155 million investing in Paulding County. Let's give them a hand. We're only a few weeks away, and that's exciting. The new Paulding Hospital will bring a new, larger, and more sophisticated healthcare facility to our county, and includes 30 adult emergency exam rooms, 10 pediatric emergency exam rooms, and 4 surgery suites that can be expanded to a total of 8. The hospital, as you see it today, stands with, initially will open with 56 inpatient beds and will grow to 112. Additionally, height variances, thanks to the Hiram City Council, will allow for future growth beyond the 8 floors you see today to a total of 11 floors in the future. At 112 beds, the new hospital will bring an estimated 300 new jobs to Paulding, and the new medical office building right beside it will generate an additional 200 new jobs, make a grand total of 500 new jobs for the residents of our community. This time I'd like to thank Mark Haney and Reynolds Jennings and everyone that serves on the Wellstar board here in Paulding and in any way, form, or fashion with Wellstar. Y'all stand and let us recognize you. It's great having that regional input here with Wellstar. And again, as Carolyn made an announcement, we will have this function at the hospital next month. So we're very excited about that. There'll be limited space, so please come and see why we're so excited. Hand in hand with the new hospital is a new ambulance provider. The Metro Ambulance Service is officially in place. Metro Ambulance was among the highly recommended by our neighboring Cobb County, where they have provided exceptional service since 2001 for 911 response. And they are certainly living up to all their expectations, and we thank you for your commitment to high quality service in Paulding for our citizens and for the great service you've already provided. They have a total of 8 ambulances. You may see these brand new Mercedes ambulances. They're pretty exciting. They're stocked with state-of-the-art equipment, and the staff is highly trained medics and servicing Paulding. Metro has also retained 100% of the EMTs and paramedics from Clark's Ambulance, which was purchased by Metro in December of 2013, and they're working to add another 15 jobs in Paulding County. So let's hear it again for Metro. Currently, they have 100 employees that work for Metro living in Paulding County. So thank you all, and I appreciate you. If you're in the room, would y'all stand if you were here with Metro? Now for our newsmaker, the Paulding Northwest Airport and the Silver Comet Field. Wow. When I came into office, we had a $50 million asset in the Paulding County Airport, financed by the Federal Aviation Administration. As I studied this asset, I'm reminded of the parable of the talents in the Bible, Matthew 25:29. Do I have that right, Pastor? Matthew. For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have abundance. People saying, abandon this, do that. It's a beautiful asset, and we're growing this asset. Looking at this asset, we needed a terminal building, and in 2009, Governor Perdue put that in his budget. The legislature said it's a good thing, and we completed that in 2010. The Airport Authority has since built a fuel farm. They've engaged a fixed base operator, and they've formed a partnership with Propellant Investments and Silver Comet Field. I believe we've got some guys with us today. If y'all stand and be recognized. Thank you to Blake Swafford, our airport director and IBA director, for your leadership and your tenacity to change our tax base and bring jobs to Paulding County. Blake, I know you're here somewhere. Would you stand? He's our George Clooney. In 2013, at the air show, a major announcement was made that we would seek FAA approval for a 139 certification to begin commercial flights out of Paulding. Because of this, incredibly, little old Paulding County has made the national news. the Wall Street Journal, why is Delta afraid of this airport, this tiny airport? The New York Times, why big airlines fight with small airports. And The Economist magazine, all these are world publications. And they said flexing muscle in Atlanta. Who would have ever dreamed that we would make the national and international news with our little airport? Well, this has become newsworthy only because Delta Airlines' efforts to stop a small community airport from a little commercial success. First, we've been inundated with open records requests by their lawyers, and for whatever reason, that whatever they secured ended up in the hands of our opponents, and it ended up on Facebook, and they were talking about it. And there wasn't anything of note, but we just passed that information along to you. But how many of you believe here that these attorneys came here out of the goodness of their heart at $750 an hour to give that work away from outside the county? You know, it just pains me, and it's hard for me to understand this. Delta reminds me of a child that goes into a room and puts his hands over its eyes, and they think you can't see them. That's amazing. Recently, the Delta's grassroots organizing firm, and understand they've hired one of the largest PR firms in the world, has made a great effort of show to public opposition to our small-time airport. Now, I'm happy with any one of these people to sit down, and I made my office available. If you want to come make an appointment to talk to me, I'll be glad to do that. But I just think it's sad when misguided people show up with signs saying drinking jet fuel is a killer. And to that, I got to say, you got to be kidding me. That's in the Chamber of Commerce that I say you got to be kidding me. I just suspect we're on the, just the beginning of this silliness. But think about this. If this were true, every airport in America would be closed down by the EPA. The scare tactic that Delta is using with some of our citizens is that we are building the second Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. That is absolutely not true. You heard me say it in public, in front of God and everybody. That is not true. We don't have the land, the money, or the gold to do that. The truth is, we want to be an Albany, Georgia style airport, a Columbus or a Macon or a Asheville, North Carolina type airport with limited commercial service to vacation destinations. I'm thinking with Bartow County having the new Lake Point Sports Complex, with Cobb County having the Braves, the Paulding Airport can bring success in manufacturing and aerospace jobs. And that's what we're after, that kind of companies that want to find our little airport attractive and prosper with us here. We don't have to lose our landscape or our love for it. We don't have to. All we're looking for is quality industry like aerospace to ensure the balance that we seek. Sir Francis Drake once said, "There must be a beginning to any great matter, but continuing to the end until it thoroughly finished yields the true glory." So I remind myself, and I remind you, that we're early in this process. But you've got to know, with the grace of God, that I have the resolve to see this through. By saying that, I'm going to give you a couple of highlights of what is actually happening at the airport. There's a runway safety area, and this project provides just increased safety, and it just helps in the event that an airline or airplane were to overshoot the runway. The taxiway widening, this will widen the taxiway to the same width and connecting taxiway so that the aircraft can reach the end of the runway on the west, thus using all 6,000 feet. You've heard no expansion sign, you've seen those. We're not expanding the runway, and we never were. It's always been 6,000 feet. We were only able to use 5,500 of it. It was striping in the way the FAA made us do that. So all we want to do is be able to get to use the entire length, and the only thing holding us back is the length of the taxiway and the width of the taxiway. So we'll complete those projects. Out there, we also have the West Dallas Fire Station and the new 911 Center. gosh knows we need the new 911 center with the 500-year floods and the tornado and all the other. We're on top of each other in there, and it's hard to operate. But if we built the West Dallas Fire Station, for you that live in that area, it will certainly help your insurance rates. The E911 center will be co-located with this fire station. The grading for this has been completed, and the contract for construction of the facility has been awarded and is set to begin in the spring of 2014. But lawsuits filed will delay the construction and probably cost the county thousands of dollars for this useless lawsuit. Out there we have a corporate hangar we've been working on quite a while. We had an accident not long ago. A tornado came through, but we're back building. It will have 25,000 square feet of hangar space and 11,000 square feet of office space. The facility will provide a much needed area for larger aircraft to be housed out at the airport. Now, something to think about is one plane is equal to, on the average, 55 homes in Paulding County for ad valorem tax. So that's important to mention. The hangar will provide enough office space to accommodate several new aviation businesses that want to come to our airport. The Industrial Building Authority awarded the hangar to prime contractors, and prime has begun work, and that should be completed in the spring of 2014. Terminal renovations. Now, this is exciting to me. The terminal is currently being renovated by Silver Comet Partners, LLC, our friends here, to allow for commercial airline success out of our facility. The 23,000 square foot terminal is being renovated to include ticketing, TSA screening, baggage claim, passenger hold room, and a single gate. And renovations are scheduled for completion in the summer of 2014. What you need in order to have commercial success is a Part 139 certification for the approval of a commercial service. So the certification manuals have been submitted to the FAA, and about that thick, the manual. We've also submitted a draft airport security plan, and that's been submitted to TSA. And as I said earlier, Drake said, continuing to the end yields the true glory. So we will see this through. I can't talk about the airport without mentioning the Salute to America air show. It was a huge success for both a Saturday night and a Sunday afternoon show. I don't know if you were there, but for the pilots in the room, they were blown away, and they're hard to impress. So it was a great evening with the Canadian F-18 fighter jet and the Shell Aerospace team. The show this year was built around aviation and aerospace education. And gosh, Cliff, y'all did a magnificent job, art contest, and just had thousands of students involved in this. By bringing in the education side of this, we got Lockheed involved as a sponsor among other people. So at this time, I'm not sure, I think he had to fly out today. Brent Sparks. Did Brent make it today? We all give him a hand anyway, the county employees and volunteers, for a fabulous, fabulous air show. Now for the third and last topic, and I can hear y'all going, whew. Warren, this is kind of like when you say, and in closing, then Warren goes on for 30 more minutes. And in closing, I was pleased to announce to y'all last year that $32 million in funding had been secured for the Richland Creek Reservoir. Boy, thank you for GFA and the work you do there. I've even been more pleased to tell you that this year we were successful again and $21.6 million to that total. That brings our defined reservoir total to a funding of $53.6 million. Now, where that sounds very exciting, one of the best part of the funding story is yet to be written. Just before the holidays, our project was among those few selected to receive the state direct investment as part of the governor's water supply program. Tell him I said thank you. The funding is advantageous because it provides substantial source of construction funding that does not need repayment. Let me state that again. That does not need repayment. While we don't know the level of financing we will receive, we feel like that we are on the very top of a very, very short list. Most recently, we've completed the remaining study, hydraulic modeling effort that was used to demonstrate the insignificant impact this project will have measured against the entire 22,000 acre drainage basin. Think about this, a drop of water up here at Richland Creek. We have to explain what it would mean to them somewhere down in South Alabama. It passes through 5 Alabama power dams and a 6 Corps of Engineer dam, and they will know the impact this water has on that area. So you can tell it is insignificant. On January the 9th, a 6-person delegation consisting of myself, Post Commissioner 4 David Barnett, the County Administrator Mike Jones, our Water System Director Michael Carter, the Environmental Council of King and Spalding, one of the few big companies that are not working against us, Mr. Lewis Jones, and most notably the state's Georgia Environmental Protection, the EPD Director Judd Turner, traveled with us to Savannah to meet directly with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Savannah District Commander Colonel Tigner, and his staff. I've been saying to Mike Jones for 6 months, I'm sick of meeting with all these people that can say no. I want to be in front of the person who can finally sign our Corps permit. And we were able to do that. Mr. Turner was able to speak directly with them, and we asked him to go so he could tell them what the impact that the Richland Creek Reservoir has from the governor's office. And they're 100% behind us, so we're excited about this. This will allow us opportunities. We also got to tell about our displeasure with the lengthy process that this has taken since 1999. I had a gentleman the other day to call me and said, "What are you doing on the reservoir?" Well, I'm telling you, I'm very, very frustrated. And we made our displeasure known. But I'm happy to report to you that our collective concerns were well received, and I believe the issuance of this long anticipated permit that we've been working on for over a decade is imminent. We're underway with the design of the dam reservoir, the water treatment plant, the intake and pipeline. The dam will be about 120 feet tall, 2,800 feet long, and will require 1.5 million cubic yards. Y'all will be happy, Plateau. Of fill material backing up over 3.4 billion gallons of water. Will everyone in the room that's worked on this water project please stand and let me recognize you? I think y'all have done a great job. Bill? Bill Carew started this in 1999 and said this is what the people want, and they said yes we do, and we've been working on it ever since, so thank you, Bill. All the county departments are important, but for lack of time, and if you want to stay here another couple hours, I could talk about them. But for time's sake, I'm just going to talk to you about what the public has been most interested in recently, and that's the Paulding Recreation Department. And here are a few highlights. The largest single development project for our Parks and Recreation Department is currently under construction with a new Veterans Park at the Watson Complex. And David Barnett, I want to thank you for that name. I don't know a better way to honor our veterans than this new park, so thank you very much. It's scheduled for completion in May of 2014, and the park consists of approximately 7 acres. So if you have a hard time like me saying, what does 7 acres look like? Well, that government park out there is 7 acres, so you can measure against that. The amenities include a formal pavilion, an amphitheater, a child play area, and a half-a-mile walking and jogging path. The park will be heavily landscaped and will certainly beautify the existing campus. I've often said it looked like Fido's rear end. The park can be reached by the Silver Comet Trail, by sidewalks, and it can also be reached by the sidewalks in Dallas. So we're excited. What you'll see happen there are Touch a Truck, Public Safety Appreciation Day, concerts in the park, but our first scheduled event will be this year's Relay for Life on Friday, May the 6th. So we're excited about that and about fighting cancer. Number 2, the Larry Ragsdale White Oak Park is seeing major renovations. The current enclosed pavilion is being updated and a second enclosed area is being added, in addition to 2 new open-air pavilions that are currently under construction, one in the front of this park and one near the center. A new restroom area for park users is also included. That's always a good thing. And all the parking has been paved out there except for one little area, and again, that's a great job by our DOT. This project is slated to be complete in the spring of 2014. One new multi-purpose park has been constructed at the Burnt Hickory. One new multi-purpose field has been constructed at the Burnt Hickory Park, and the field is located below the current baseball and softball complex. In addition to the dugouts, we will add shade structures for everybody to keep them out of the rain and the heat. Tennis courts at Mount Taper Park and Taylor Farm have been recently resurfaced and new nets erected with shade structures on these as well. I'm proud of this one. I think, is Earl here? Earl Duncan? Yeah. Right there. He said, "You mean I gotta pay $25 to go hear an Austin speak?" Thank you, Earl, for your contribution. But the Earl Duncan Park at Paulding Meadows has now been paved, and all areas of the park have been paved, compliments of our DOT. So again, thank you very much. Design work for the new multi-purpose park at the Union Community is still in progress, and this 160-acre site will be a phased project consisting of walking trails and pavilions, a play area, and a community garden area. And this is an idea from former Commissioner Mike Pope, who lives in that area. Thank you, Mike. All these projects wouldn't be possible without the continuance of our SPLOST. So thank you very much for all your support for that. And reflecting on a recent sermon from Reverend Warren Huddleston, where I do pay attention occasionally, we can embrace change or we can fight it, but regardless, change will happen. And we are preparing our county for what seems to be a growing population. Now, when you figure the impact that our water has, there is a very complicated formula for figuring that out. But if we use what we know today, that we stand at 155,000 people, using this formula in 2023, it shows us at 200,000 people. 2033 shows us at 273,000 people. And a forecast out to 2060 shows us at almost 500,000 people in little old Paulding County. Preparation and long-term planning are essential for the future. And that brings me to thank Tabitha Pollard, our CEO of the county, and Mike Jones for your strategic planning. Would y'all stand and be recognized? Talking about strategic planning, over the last 5 years would have been a disaster for Paulding County had we not planned for huge cutbacks, reducing county staff by more than 70 people, furlough days, and efficient spending by the Board of Commissioners. But not just us, every office. Deborah Anderson is here, Treva's here. Every office was touched by this. The judges always want raises, but everybody sacrificed. And they still do. But huge sacrifices were made, so I'd like to thank every department in Paulding County, and let's prepare for growth to come. Would y'all stand if you work with the county in any way, form, or fashion? Let us recognize you. Before I get to my closing remarks, I would like to thank our national award-winning Channel 23 media specialist, Jody Martin. Jody, thank you very much. I practiced this thing about 150 times. So walking into the room after she'd heard this, I was reading my papers and I'm going, she loves me? She loves me not. Thank you, Jody. For the future, we've worked very, very closely with Charlie Watts. Charlie, thank you for being here today, with Howard Maxwell and our legislature to bring the State Patrol Post to Paulding County. Working very hard on that. We're also concurrently working to bring you a driver's license bureau to Paulding County, and this looks like it's, thank you. that will be very promising. And what they were able to go down to the governor and say is, we're the largest populated county in the state without a driver's license bureau. We drive to Cedartown, Marietta, and other areas, but there's no place here. You used to go to the library and be able to get a driver's license, but you have to go way out of the way. So this is exciting, and we hope we can bring that in. It's in the governor's budget, so thank you. Speaking of the future, commissioners, Board of Education, legislative seats are all up for re-election, in addition to our governor, Governor Deal. And I'd like to personally thank him for putting me on the Student Finance Commission, who administers the Hope Scholarship. That was a great honor, and I hope I can serve him well. I think he's been a fabulous, fabulous governor. But when you go in the ballot box to vote, just remember, this takes a lot of strategic planning, and it takes somebody like a David Barnett or a Tommy Graham that knows what they're doing to help lead this county. So don't forget them when you're in there doing your voting. At the end of the day, I would like to thank my county attorney, Jason Phillips. He's a devout Christian, and he not only counsels me, but he prays with me and for me. Thank you, Jason. Now, God bless Paulding County, the state of Georgia, and the USA. And thank y'all for being here.
Thank you, Chairman Austin. On behalf of the Chamber, we just thank you for your partnership and your leadership, and we have a token of our appreciation. Let's thank him one more time. We also have something for his beautiful wife, Jane, right here as well. Thank you so much.